All right, in the second video, we're really just going to use that property that we talked about in the first video, and just going to be very, very careful about remembering our properties of rational exponents and with our parentheses. Okay, so we're basically just going to be converting, and then it becomes an 8.1 problem. Okay, so step 1 is to convert, and step 2 is simplify, like 8.1. or 8.2. So let's look at this in action. Example 3, maybe? Simplify the following. Part A, going to be 25 to the 1/2. And part B is going to be 64 to the 1/3. So again, both of these, and you can use your calculator to verify these, just be very careful with your parentheses on your calculator as well. All right, both of these, we could just write them as a radical. So just using that property from earlier, 25 to the 1/2. 1/2 is the radical with an index of 2. We usually don't write that. We'll just write square root like this. Well, the square root of 25 is just 5, and that's all there is to it. Okay. And in part B, right, the denominator becomes the index. So, right, whenever we transfer, right, it's really that 3 right here, that denominator that goes on a journey over here, creates a radical, and becomes our index. And again, the cubed root of 64, you have a table for this, is 4. Let's do 3 more, and then you can really get started on this chunk of homework problems. In part C, and again, as a reminder, on all these videos, I really do go pretty quickly. The idea is that you can pause. So after each of these examples, it's a good idea to pause the video and just think about it for a little bit, okay? Usually we do this in class, but with a video, I don't need to pause because you can control the speed. You have the power. You cannot pause me in class. Well, you sort of can, right? You can ask a question or whatever. But let's keep going. Now let's worry about negatives. Negative 16 to the 1/4 compared to part D, which is negative 16 to the 1/4. And if you're not looking at the video, if you're just listening to the video, you're going to say, wait a minute, didn't he say the same thing? I did. One has parentheses. And remember, parentheses means inside the parentheses, means inside the radical, right? Because this whole thing has the exponent. Whereas in the second one, order of operation says that only the 16 has the exponent. So be careful over here. This becomes the 4th root. Again, that denominator of the exponent becomes our new index. And then everything inside the parentheses becomes the inside of the square root, or in this case, the 4th root. Our index is 4. We have an even index, but a negative number. This is not real, right? If it equaled something, then it'd be, okay, what is that something to the 4th power? Better equal negative 16. And there are some numbers that we can fill in the blank here and make this true, but they sure as heck are not real, okay? Our answer for C is going to be not real. We'll worry about this complex answer later in section 8.8. Whereas D is different, right? So D, we also have a 4th root, but the only thing that has that exponent, whoa, is the 16. So only the 16 goes inside, and the negatives on the outside here. This is the difference. Inside parentheses, inside the radical. And now the 4th root of 16, that's fine, that's just 2. We have a very different answer for parts C and D. All right, last one over here. To thoroughly remind you about how negatives work, we got something also very similar, but now the negative is somewhere else. Remember, a negative exponent means reciprocal. This is always going to be an easy thing to forget. So it becomes 1 over 16 to the 1/4. The negative exponent just means whatever is attached to this exponent, so the 16 in this case, goes to the denominator. If the 16 were already in the denominator, the negative would make it go to the numerator. And then we just simplify it again. The 4th root, that means to the 1/4 means the 4th root. And we have that 16. And again, the 4th root of 16 is just 2. as before. And now we finish. We have a totally normal smiley face today. All right. Good luck.